There she is. She's a beaut, isn't she? Man, my black car's nowhere near as pretty as this. Good. That's because it's black. Um, red's the fast color. Whatever. All right. So my friend said I could. She asked me to wash her car. So as long as I had the car at my house, I did a 1 year service, so to speak, on it. Now I don't think there's any technically any 1 year service, but there are a few things that you should do from time to time. Okay, so first of all, I filled up the windshield washer fluid. It took almost half a gallon. So it's a big reservoir, but you have to fill it up from time to time. Okay, I rotated the tires. Okay, and as long as I had the tires off, I took a quick look at the brakes, make sure the brakes are still attached basically. But I mean, if sometimes you'll see some fluid leaking or something like that, that may require some further action. I didn't see any of that. Um, Filled up the tires, or aired up the tires. So there are two basic things you're supposed to do all the time. You don't do them every day, but at least once a month. Let's put it that way. It really should be every week, but whatever. We can argue about that later. One thing is, you should make sure your tires are up to pressure, 45 pounds or PSI. You should make sure you have windshield washer fluid. Those are the two things that you should do on a regular basis. The tire rotation is every 9,000 miles. Her car hadn't hit 9,000 miles yet, but it's been just over a year, so let's go ahead and rotate them. Okay? So there you go. Did I do anything else special for service? No. I mean, I did look at all the brakes, and I did look underneath the car and the battery cover to make sure that there's no problems with the aero cover. I mean, there's an aero cover, and then inside is the battery pack itself. Right. So just took a look at it. Other than that, everything's fine. And something I do extra, usually I go through and try it, as long as I have the wheel off, the tire off, I check the tire and make sure there's no nails in it. I've had both punctures, and I've had, I guess, tacks stuck in my tire. So that's why I do that. But of course, if you find a nail, it's going to be a service, right? To fix the tire or replace it. Okay, there you go. Man, if my Model 3 was in red, oh, I would fall in love every day. Okay, whatever, peace and harmony. I'm thinking I didn't mention checking on your windshield wipers. I mean, I usually just go by how does it look when you're actually using them. Although they will get hard when they're not really serviceable anymore. To replace your wipers, for me, I just order them from Tesla. Okay, I mean, this connector is a somewhat different connector than the usual car. So it just works out better just buying the replacement windshield wipers from Tesla themselves. What, $35, something like that. So a little bit more expensive, that's true, but otherwise it's just fine. All right, so I didn't capture putting in the fluid, but here's your windshield washer fluid. Just pull it open, and you might see that there's just a little bit of fluid in the bottom. So you want the fluid to somehow be visible when you go to fill it up, and that's where you leave it. So like I said, it took half a gallon, no big deal. There you go. All right, so depending on how you look at it, this may or may not be completely necessary, but I have them in my cars, and that's pucks.
So Tesla has 4 holes in the bottom of their car for these pucks. So when you go to jack up your car, the puck has to be in and the jack has to jack on that puck to avoid damaging your battery. So, you know, it's just, it doesn't cost much. I keep a set of 4 in my frunk with my other supplies. Like I said, depends how you feel about it. I'm pretty sure if you went someplace like Discount Tire, they already have pucks. I can almost guarantee you Tesla does. In fact, they've never asked me about pucks, so obviously they do. So depends how you look at it, but they're pretty cheap. I mean, like 12, 13 bucks. So it's worth it to have them. And there you go. There's the way the wheel looks when it's actually cleaned up. It's worth it to clean the wheels whenever you rotate them, right? There you go. Pumping up tires. It's about 45. Okay, tire from the front, the driver's side front. And she has an amazing number of little stones in her tires. I'm noticing that there's just a little wear here. So it might be time to do an alignment, but we'll talk. I think my Model Y had a similar thing, except of course I have a lot more miles than she does, but it was worn just a little bit on the inside of the tire. But anyway, there you go. There's that tire. Okay, tire rotation. Driver's side rear. So I've already gone through, dug out most, well, I guess most, not all of them, most of the rocks. So I'm checking to make sure that I don't have any nails and making sure that the tire wear is somewhat even. Okay, and the red paint is just where the valve stem is. All right, inspection of the passenger front. Ever so slightly, a little wear on the outside, a little wear on the inside, which would probably indicate an underinflation. All right, otherwise just fine. Well, did I remember to do the video inspection? I don't think I did video inspection on this tire. It's essentially as the previous two. It's a little bit wear on the outside, so maybe worth doing an alignment. But otherwise just fine, other than this little nasty rash. But I don't think even that impacts the wheel's integrity. It's just a scratch. Okay. Okay, driver front brakes. Well, that's interesting. This one looks different. Okay. Suspension. Nothing looks horribly out of place. So we're good here. Okay, driver rear brakes. That looks pretty decent. Nothing looks out of place. And of course that's the motor in there. So this looks good. Okay, passenger front brakes. Look decent. Okay, suspension, no obvious problems. So we're good there. Okay, passenger rear. Looks decent. No obvious problems. Oops, yeah. That's so easy to hit curbs, isn't it? Anyway, this was the passenger rear, which is not the side that got hit or came close to being hit for FSD. All right, as long as you got the car jacked up, take a look at the covering of the battery pack under the car. Just check to see if there's any tears or whatever. So it's not just an aerodynamic concern. If there's some kind of intrusion into the battery pack, that's a potential spot where you might have battery fire. And you definitely don't want that, right? I would like to think you wouldn't. So if you do find such a thing, the best person to ask is Tesla, right? I'm not an expert on it. I just know that the underneath of this car looks pretty good. Of course, it's only a year old, right? Is it supposed to get that much moisture in your taillights when you're washing? Oh, looks kind of strange compared to my Model 3. All right, so she's been washed. You know, it's hard to get the bug stuff off your front when it gets on there. So whenever you're stopping someplace and they have a thing to clean the front of your car, you should go ahead and clean your car just to get that stuff off, because it will stick to your paint, at least to some extent. I've never seen extreme, but I know that it kind of eats into the paint. All right, so here we are. So this is just a picture of it. What? How would I get? Yeah, inspection. Make sure when she gets her car back, she's not going like, "Oh, look at this. This is awful." And that's the thing. When you have a pretty car, you want it to be pretty, right? At least to some extent. I mean, as far as I can tell, she tends to treat her car somewhat like it's just a car, which is fine. I mean, that's the way some of us do treat our cars. This is the way I treat my Model Y and my Model 3. It's just a regular car. However, I mean, when people are looking at it, you want it to look pretty. Yes. Oh, this is pretty. Okay. After washing it, I will tell you there's a few spots where, like this here, I mean, if you get a rock that hits it, it'll chip off a piece. So you can get a paint correction done. You get that done by a professional. I'm not that level person. No way. Okay? And I think after you do that, you do a ceramic coat. Although ceramic coats are good for what, 3 months or something? I don't even understand. All right, so for washing my car, what I've been using is Black Magic Wet Shine. Well, is it the best? I don't know. I have no idea. Other than it's specifically meant for washing cars, as opposed to using like Dove or something. Anyway, whatever. There it is. It's so pretty. And yes, I do like those sport wheels. Yes, if you had it now, if you buy a car, a Tesla, obviously, if you have a Tesla with aero covers, you can pull off the aero covers, and it will have mag-like wheels underneath, kind of like here in the Model 3. Okay. So if you want to go that way, it's much cheaper than buying the sport wheels. And the disadvantage of sport wheels is your profile is just a little bit smaller, so it's just a little bit rougher riding. Although this car is nice, it's smooth. Okay, there you go. All right. So I guess we're done cleaning the inside. All right. Not completely cherry, but close. Okay, back seat. Yeah. It looks pretty cherry, doesn't it? You might be saying, wait, this is only for a year And what? She has a 4-year-old granddaughter too. Okay, here's the frunk of my friend's car. So for service, I just filled up the windshield wiper washer reservoir. Over here, we have our portable charger. Over here, we have a CCS Combo 1 adapter, which has never actually been used, and a air pump, along with the flat seal. And of course, the eye hook. So there you go. Wow. To be fair, the CCS1 combo adapter, I bought one and I got a second one, so I put this one in her car just in case. And my Model 3 is older, so it's not compatible with it. So this stuff's just here just in case you need it. Man, an almost clean trunk. Yes, it's a year old. Come on, man. Wait, I haven't done this car justice. Here's the sub trunk. Yes, this car has a trunk and a sub trunk. Okay, so I've included a picture. I didn't go out to the car, but so I charged it up while it was here. I mean, was it anywhere near needing charge? No, but it's better to go. I figured it'd be better to go ahead and put it on mine since I have a 220 as opposed to, or a level 2, if you want to call it that, wall charger. So, and it took a while to top end balance when it got there. So, I don't know. I mean, I know she does 100% charges, but she just has a 120, level 1. So, which is more than enough for her. Anyway, while it was plugged in, I noticed that it's only going up to 32, which is, I mean, this has the CATL LFP pack in it. Yes, that's a China battery. Yeah, okay. But, I mean, it's a great battery. It's the reason why they have them. So, the point is, if you pull in and you could go, if you're at a charger and go to 11 kilowatts, the car itself can't go that high. It only goes up to 32 amps, or I think that worked out to 6 to 7 kilowatt hours, something like that, 6 kilowatts. So there you go. And the DC fast charging, I think, is limited to 180. I could be wrong. I heard that number at one time. It's the one thing I don't like about this car, but you know, it's so efficient. What difference does it make? Oh, so in the drive over, now the drive over is a mix of backcountry and 55 mile per hour highway driving. It got 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour. Yes. my Model 3 Performance can't touch that. And that's one of the beauties of this car, is it's so efficient, so energy efficient. Okay, whatever. Okay, I haven't checked it with light show, but this looks like it has the newer style headlights as opposed to what I have in my cars. My cars don't look quite like this. So the newer style, when you run light show, it will spell out Tesla, which is really cool.